Hey sis.
Hey sis, how we
What's
doing?
I'm good. What's goody with you?
Oh, well, first off, welcome listeners. Uh
Oh yeah. See, this is what happens, right? We literally just start talking. Welcome everyone to the second episode of Hold Up, Let Me Call My Sis. I'm your girl T Jamaica Pogue, affectionately known as Deconstructing Nero.
and I am LaMia Radiant.
Ew.
Yeah, welcome back guys. We're really hoping that you enjoyed our first episode and just get used to us.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, how you doing, big sister?
Honestly, I'm doing pretty good. Lots of things swirling in the air around me. But overall, pretty grounded is a biggie. And whereas before I was like in the tornado in my brain at least. So today I'm feeling much more grounded. I don't know how much you want to get into it, but this could be a little introduction to some aspect of my personality. I have a friend, really good friend of mine who does tarot readings, and so yes, I'm into the boo boos. And I just came from a session with her, and also just like catching up and everything, and that really did like woosah me a bit. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, look, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I still got like I lost count of how many tarot decks I have,
Yeah.
and oracle decks as well.
Mm.
So yeah, it's all good in the woo woo land. I'm into the woo woo too.
Mm.
But that became a hyper fixation of mine to where like I bought like so many fucking. I mean, to the point I have a Golden Girls tarot deck. Did you
Now
know
that's
that?
crazy. Okay, that's new information. I did not know that. But that's
It's
funny because
cute.
I could imagine it. Actually, I need to see that. I want to really actually want to see that because that's intriguing. But she actually did use a like kind of unique deck today. It was like a Alice in Wonderland deck.
Mm.
And the illustrations were actually really cute. I'll send you the picture I took of everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm feeling very it was if for anyone who knows tarot, there are like major and minor arcana. You could think of it as like how a deck of cards would have your king, queens, and all that kind of stuff, and then you have like your numbered cards. So your majors are like king, queens, and your numbers are like minors. Um, and so the two I got the two major ones that I got, sun card and star card,
Oh wow.
concerning, yeah. So
Okay.
we'll talk off air on that one
Yeah, absolutely.
specifically,
And
but yeah,
next time you're up here, I gotta show you two decks, the Golden Girls deck and then this other
yes.
one. The illustrations
Mm.
are just impeccable. And for some reason the
Mm.
name is escaping me. Actually, here go my
The
tarot
name of the
cards right
deck.
here. Yeah,
Oh
because I don't
wow.
want to call it the wrong thing, but my tarot cards are right here.
But that's
Oh,
crazy because
Dark
like
World Tarot. It's called Dark World Tarot.
okay, what's it look like? Like what's the theme of the illustration and
It's
stuff?
if you really are doing like shadow work, I think
Mm.
this is the deck for you because for me, I think another reason why I got so many decks was because the illustrations speak to me when it comes to different
Yes.
kind of readings that I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
do. So when I saw the Dark Tarot deck, I was like, "Ooh, it's like it's not sinister at all, but it definitely is thought provoking and
Mm.
in some ways emotional, I would say."
Interesting.
So yeah, I think you would like that, but this is the Golden Girls deck. And
I'm
also
dead.
I'm using the video. I know, right? I'm using the video, just so you know.
What video you
Of
talking
us
about?
recording. It's not just gonna be audio.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. You're right. You're right. Well, it's fine. Listen, this is episode 2, honey. Everybody rough.
In the beginning, I
In
know.
the beginning.
But bitch, I love this freaking deck. It's too cute. But the four ladies represent the four
Mm.
different
Oh,
suits.
elements. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I
So
can guess. Let me see if I can guess who would be what.
guys, that would be cute. That would be cute.
Okay, I'm thinking Blanche is fire.
So wand.
I think, yeah, like she's a, yeah, I forgot how they correlate. Yes, I think Blanche is fire / wand. I think, I don't know, I almost want to say, I almost want to say, what's Betty White's character?
Rose.
I almost feel like Rose, ironically, might be an air sign / sword because she's an airhead, but I don't know. Like it'd be like ironic that she's like the head side, the thinking sign kind of thing. I want to say, what's the other two elements? Water
and earth.
And earth. Oof. See, Dorothy and Sophia don't give me. They both give me more earth. They don't. Neither of them give me water. So I'm gonna say Dorothy might be actually air. Rose might be water / cups, and Earth might be Sophia / what's the one for Earth in the cards again? Pentacles. No, that's my guess.
So you are 2 out of 4.
I was gonna say it had to be, if I'm right at all, it had to be half, I guess.
Yes. So, and it was only after you changed it because Rose is the cups. Dorothy is swords.
Oh, she's air.
Yes.
Okay.
Sophia is wands, which she is the most fiery out of all of them.
I guess you're right. Okay.
And then Blanche is pentacles.
Okay, I see how Blanche is earth because it's like she's very physical.
Yes.
Okay, understood. Sex is sex, you know, she's a sexual one, so that's very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like the sensual, like sex can be related to just being gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just sensuality in general is very earthy in a sense. If that's making sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you think about like, even if you correlate it to like the chakras, like your sacral chakra is lower in your chakra energy. It's like more rooted. It's obviously it's not the root chakra, but it's right down there next to it. Exactly.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, bitch, I love it. It's too cute.
That sounds
I saw
hilarious.
that, you know me, a golden girl, so I was like, it's kind of like perfect.
Yeah. Well, if I might send this to my homegirl, but my homegirl Caitlin does line art, and I really would love to see what a tarot deck will look like if she made one.
Oh wow!
And she's a not a perfectionist, but I know, but she would want to be delicate, like she's a Cancer sun like you. So I she would want to be like delicate and like really take her time on it. So I know it would probably be a huge endeavor for her to she wouldn't just like willy nilly do it,
right?
But I think it would be. I think her aesthetic would be fire for a for a tarot deck. That's if you're listening
to this. Girl, I have a friend like that too. I think I told you about her. Her name is Aramis, and she lives in Seattle. I visited her when I did that road trip on the West Coast.
Oh, dope.
And she's an artist, and I love her art. And actually, this is when I was deep into tarot. I like even reached out to her. I was like, "Yo, can we collab?" And she was like, "I love the idea of it," but she already has been commissioned for so many things. Like she does murals around the city on top of her own pieces, and so she was like, "It's not something that I can like dedicate time to." But if there was anybody that I would choose to do a tarot deck, it would be Aramis. And I'm gonna send you. I think I might have sent you it a while ago, but I'll definitely send you her Instagram and her YouTube because like her work is phenomenal. She actually painted one of the letters in the Black Lives Matter mural in Seattle.
And actually, that's who. When I do go visit Seattle, which I'm going to do, I'm trying to do a pop up visit. Hopefully my coin can get it together. But I was going to ask you for her info because I'm like, if I pop up, I want to pop up and maybe be like, "What's up, homie?" Like,
exactly. Yes, she's actually pregnant right now with her first kid. Yeah.
And she has like locks like all the way down her back or something, right?
Yes, thick, full, free-form locks. They're gorgeous. I think you guys would definitely get along. So yes, I will pass the information off to you.
I'm gonna add one more person to this the discussion. It's this woman that I met that had recently done all of my graphics for where the company I work for. You've
Mm-hmm.
seen it, and
Uh-huh.
it's very Afrocentric, right? At least that first one. She did the second show as well, which had a little bit more diversity. It was a little more like youthful.
Uh-huh.
But that first one, like that aesthetic, LaMia White is her name, and her company is called Paper Lux. Um, Dope. She would do a fire tarot card too. If you listen, sis. Okay. So
Yes. Just
yeah.
putting these ideas out
Just
into
put
the
it out in the
atmosphere.
ethers. Come
Right. My
on.
God. Period.
Yes. All right.
Indeed,
Okay, well,
indeed.
what we talking about today, girl?
Well, for our watcher and dancer segment where we get very philosophical and talk on things, I kind of wanted us to build off of what we were talking about last week. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
stemmed from my hate to love of Harry Potter and
Yeah.
how J.K. Rowling is a turf. And we started to talking about like the demonization and the scapegoating of trans people, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit more, especially now we're in Pride Month. We're coming to the end of
Mm-hmm.
Pride Month, and with our current climate, I think it's prudent to have more open and
Good word.
honest conversations about
Mm-hmm.
them scapegoating the girls and the guys, the dolls and the Kens.
Uh, yeah. I agree, and I'm going to preference this little what's the word, not preface, but when you're like warning somebody or something, what's the word?
Yeah, preface this by saying
I
what?
guess, yeah, a little
Yeah.
disclaimer, a disclaimer.
Okay, good. Yeah.
um I usually in these conversations that are very polarizing, that have a degree of contention on one side or the other, I usually like to play the devil's advocate, right? For the, I guess, more contentious side of the topic. And not because I agree, because I usually do not. And in this case, I don't. I don't agree with the contentious side of this topic. I am very much a supporter of all things LGBTQ. Um,
Lettuce, guac,
you
bacon,
know,
and tomato.
yeah, come on. I am a, I am a I am a supporter. I mean, I've been told I'm probably queer because of my the type of men that I'm attracted to.
I mean, sis, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck,
Oh my
it's
god. I
cray
saw a
cray.
post today about Prince that had me. I was like, listen, all y'all that like these straight up and down men, good luck. Cause they don't sound like fun. Prince, like
Not
the
at
it was
all.
it was a post that was like, it was like all like two of Prince's girlfriends. It was like, yeah, like he loves running your bath water for you and like washing you and shit. Like, and then like oils, all that shit, roses and the thing. And then when you get out, he washes your hair. And then you get out, like he rubbing the oils and look. I was like, and so what? He wearing a heel and a leotard.
Period. He can be out here in coochie cutters and
I'll take
motherfucking
it.
lace block. Period. Period.
I gotta send you the Instagram. I don't know
Please
if you
do.
know. There was this. Well, I'm gonna send you that one, but there's another guy that like very much seems extremely effeminate.
Mm-hmm.
Got a whole girlfriend. Like I think they might actually be married with a kid.
I think I sent you something
I
like that too.
And I was like, listen, now that might be a little too much for me. But listen, if he's doing what needs to be done, what are we talking about?
Like, exactly. Because again, we need to, like, this is why trans people are so important, trans and non binary people, because they help us to question these binaries and, like,
Mm,
basically break it down. Because, like, what the fuck? Like, we don't have to subscribe to these certain kinds of, like, gender roles just because
mm-hmm.
that's what people have said we are supposed to do. I used to work with this one girl, and she said something that really stuck with me. And she was like, "Don't should all over yourself."
Ooh. Mm.
Whenever you are hearing either internally or externally people saying you should do this and you should do that, or you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, that's
Mm-hmm.
the time where you need to take a step back and really examine like why they're saying that or why you're saying that to yourself.
Mm.
And that has really helped me a lot when it comes to like certain things, when it comes to like healing and becoming more comfortable with who I am and comfortable with, having other people uncomfortable with me. You know my story. I used to be like of the classic people pleaser, masked,
Mm.
unidentified autistic person who was highly masked. And
Yeah.
a lot of things that drove me was, well, I should do this, I should
Mm.
do that, and I wasn't being true to myself. And so having that phrase in mind has really helped me to even question things that pop up in my own mind. That inner voice is like, well, no, you shouldn't do that. And a lot of times it's attached to what I call the big three, and not in
Hmm.
astrology, but like the big three are guilt, fear, and shame, because
Mm.
those are the big three emotions that a lot of society uses to keep everyone else, including themselves, in line.
Mm-hmm.
And so, should is usually associated with something in a big three. Oh, you should or shouldn't do that because you're afraid. You should or
Right.
shouldn't do something because it may make you feel guilty, and or it might
Mm.
make you feel ashamed. And once you
Mm.
identify which one of the big threes are behind that should or shouldn't, then you can start to question that even further. Well, why am I afraid of that? Am I afraid of it because it's genuinely something that I should be
Is
afraid of?
endangering
Is
me?
it
Right.
endangering? Exactly. Or am I afraid of it because it's something new and challenging me and pushing me past my comfort zone, but ultimately will be something that'll help me grow?
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing, do I feel guilty about this because this isn't a good thing to do and it's harmful? Or do I feel guilty about this because I am not used to putting myself first or used to listening to my intuition
Mm.
about, holding fast to my boundaries? And then shame, is this something that is shameful, like something that is harmful to other people and would
Right.
look terrible for me to do? Or am I just afraid of being seen fully for who I am? Which the shame
Mm.
kind of goes hand in hand with like fear and guilt a lot of the times.
Yeah, I mean
So,
they do like intersect the three of those for sure. Especially
exactly.
when it comes to shame. I almost feel like shame is like the umbrella, and then you could be ashamed, like because and like the shame could cause fear, or the guilt can, like the shame can cause you to feel guilty. It's almost like it almost kind of does that.
I feel like I get you. If I were to put anything at the top of the umbrella, it would be fear, because a lot of the
Okay.
times guilt and shame
Uh-huh.
um lead back to
Lead
fear.
to fear, right? Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um
Mm.
but
It
yeah,
really makes you wonder, like, how many people are living so unhappy just because they're worried about what people are going to think. Because, like, what I'm realizing as I continue on the journey and constantly, like, kind of come upon these type of issues in general, like whether it's this trans issue specifically or just some general like societal norm that's being questioned, like you really start to realize the psychology of humanity as we go as human society evolves, that we're going from actual danger and survival and what the biology is there and how it affects our neuroceptors and all that shit, to like, like, so we're actually running from like chimpanzees or whatever the fuck, like you know what I mean, like stereotype tigers or whatever the fuck, like we're actually
uh,
running and like we're afraid for a legitimate reason.
mm,
Whereas like now our society has evolved so much that like now we are afraid of things that like honestly aren't even real. We made them up. We made them up.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's the vast majority of people, which is why I know we've talked about this before, where I said I think that the reason why autistic people in particular, but also to some extent people with ADHD, are demonized is because we're like the canaries in the coal mine. We call out the patterns
Mm-hmm.
that people are just kind of like blindly following the script, basically, that everyone's following, and we go off book or we question. We want to put a little note in there like, why are we doing this? What's the motivation? I need to understand why we're doing this. And that makes people uncomfortable because there's this comfort in the familiarity of, okay, well, this is just how the system is, even if it's not working for everybody. If you
Right.
find your place within that system, the comfort of just belonging keeps people stuck there. And then when you are somebody who calls out like, okay, well, you're just doing this for no real reason and there's a better way to do things, instead of being like, oh, well, yeah, this is great information. Let me self reflect and think about these things. They'll make you the problem, as opposed to like understanding that you're just raising a valid question. And I think
Right.
that goes back into what we were saying that this segment was going to be about, which is the scapegoating of trans people. And I know we brought up
Mm.
Alok last week, but we're
Yeah.
probably going to bring them up a lot because
Yeah.
they're
I
just
mean, like,
incredible.
honestly, like, not my type per se, but if we happen to be
It's
drunk enough,
giving.
sure.
Bitch, shut up. But no, I bring them up because they had this video where they were, and I'm paraphrasing,
Mm-hmm.
but they were talking about how like so many people hate themselves, but they can't admit that, and so it's so easy to project that hate onto people who are living freely, who are
Yep.
not putting themselves in the same prison that you are, allowing yourself to be in, because we can't help the society that we were born into, but we
Mm-hmm.
can, um we can take the harder path of understanding what we're going through, understanding the systems at work, breaking through those, and
Mm-hmm.
deciding to be authentic as opposed to part of, another cog in the machine. And
Yeah.
so many people, to go back to your point, like so many people are not happy because they've subscribed to the shoulds. I should do this,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to get married, have kids, work 40 years for a job, and possibly be able to retire.
Hope I live long enough to retire.
Right,
Because the way the
exactly.
healthcare system is these days, the fuck, like
Exactly. Or the way our economy is like, this is
the
why you
way
got
our
80,
food is,
so you
the way.
got 80-year-old people working at,
Mm-hmm.
Walmart or whatever, and it's just crazy. Like,
That's
actually, at
real.
my
That's
job,
real.
there's this lady who's like 80 or almost 80,
That's crazy.
who's still there. I'm like, exactly, it's crazy
Mm-hmm.
business. I'm like, wow, especially in this heat. I'm like, I don't get how
It's
she.
unacceptable. It's
It
unacceptable.
is, it is. But
Mm.
anyway, so yeah, it's like people, our society is set up in such a way that there's these like this predetermined way that everyone is supposed to be, but the
Mm-hmm.
path to get there is not easy. And so it keeps us distracted from being able to realize that we are being fed a script, fed lines that we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to follow. And those who deviate from that are often demonized because they challenge the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
right now is trans people, who are
It
getting
was
the
just
big.
gay people before.
It was
That was
exactly, but then
it was just being gay.
exactly. And now it's like more specifically, it's the trans people, and in particular, trans women.
And
Because
that
we don't
is
hear
the problem. It's the
exactly.
femininity of it all, baby. Because you're right. Like when it comes to this discussion of trans people, you almost never hear an issue when it comes to female to male. Maybe some people have a thing with like, because I ain't gonna hold you. I was a little weirded out when that it was a couple years back. I almost wonder if there's an update on this person, but remember there was this trans man that had carried a baby for the couple, the relationship they were in. They
Yeah.
had black hair and a beard and everything, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, when I at the time, because again this was kind of like early, this years ago, and at the time I was like, that's weird. It might, because it is like, I mean, and so again, like I said earlier, I played devil's
Weird as
advocate.
in different, not weird as
Different,
in
or
like
or
wrong.
or no, not like it's wrong. Yeah, I don't want to associate weird with wrong, because what the fuck even is that? Like, how, if someone chooses to live their life a certain way, that can't be wrong. You know what I mean? In
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I can feel like I've never seen it before and it's strange to me. You know what I mean? And so again, playing devil's advocate, I do think that like on the other side of the token, there should be some grace. And I think that this is part of why this issue is so polarizing, is because while I completely support advocacy, there are some extremists on that side that have absolutely no grace for people that are trying to understand this. You know what I mean? Like that haven't wrapped their mind around the fact, not even the idea or concept. It's a fact. These people have grown up thinking that this is the way things should be. Whether that is right to think that way or not is not the point. It is. Right? And some people need a little bit of, not like, because I also hear people say, I shouldn't have to educate you. I'm like, yeah, but can you give them a little guidance? Can you tell them where they can, can you lead them can you help them educate themselves, right? Yes, don't sit there and like, chalkboard it down and, ain't nobody saying you got to do all that, but you can give them some guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, where is the grace and the care and the nurturing to some extent for those who, like, if they're even coming, if you're even having a discussion, that tells you something. This person's curious, right? This person maybe wants to understand. So let's not like squelch that opportunity.
With depending that being said, I was about to say, an amendment to that. If someone is coming to you in good faith, to have a conversation, because there's some people who just like to be antagonistic, and they're just like they done already dug their heels in and they just want to fight. In those situations, no, it's not my job to debate you. It's not my job to educate you. But if you have people who are genuinely like curious, then like, yes, I do believe there should be some grace. And again, going back to Alok, this is why I love Alok, because you can tell that they are led by love.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Because of that, their approach has never been to demonize other people. Even if you, I've been in their comment section where people have been straight up fucking ridiculous to them. And their response to that is, I love you. I see you. I hope that you can address whatever hurt is going on in your life.
Right.
That makes you feel like you need to come and attack a complete stranger. Like, that I feel like is more of a testament to to how we should approach advocacy in any way. When you are going in trying to fight, you are almost always going to be met with an opposing force. Even, and again, the love doesn't always reach everybody, because everybody is not receptive to love. There are some people out there who thrive off of conflict, chaos, and anger. But the vast majority of people, even though they may come into a situation feeling like they got to gear up for a fight, if you don't feed into it, eventually they're going to have to sit back and realize that, like, I'm the one bringing the fight to them.
Yeah, it's starving the wolf. It's that Native American proverb, when you starve the wolf, like, don't feed it.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that, and then they also use comedy as well. Like,
I actually love a little stand up. It's so good. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I wanted to see them when they came to Philly. I think they're still on tour, so we'll take a look and see if there's a time exactly, like, if we can go see them in person. But
but the fit was cute though. Their official stand up. I was like, oh, cute little skirt. Like, hey,
I mean, talk about fashion.
Giving fashion, honey. Yes.
I be like, sometimes I be like, I want that jewelry. I want them shoes.
And I love that I don't know if I said this in the last pod or if I said this when we were off air, but I love that Alok doesn't shave.
Oh yeah, you did.
That they are
unapologetically hairy is what you said.
I love. Oh my god, because bitch, I fucking hate ripping hair off out of my body. I hate it, and I just wish like I kind of just wish like these, especially these quote unquote straight men or whatever, would just be okay. Like, I'm a grown ass woman. Like, hair is gonna grow in certain places when you're a grown ass woman. If you want to be with children, say that. I'm just
so that
saying.
we can lock you up.
Yeah, so that we can lock you. You want a pussy that don't got nothing going on? I'm just saying.
Just say that so we can go ahead and put you in the clink clink.
Clean. I mean, because I get wanting things to be clean. Like I get it. Like don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't ever like tidy up or whatever. But like if you all the way got a whole problem with it, like bro,
because
chill.
this is my thing. They'll be the same niggas with a whole forest on their balls,
and want you to be okay with it. And then a forest that they don't even barely clean. Right. I'm like, if you're gonna have that, things get caught in hairs. Go take care of that. Anyway.
I swear. That's a topic for another day.
We might that one we might have to take off air because it's gonna get too explicit.
Exactly. I was thinking about this one situation that I'm not gonna put out in the atmosphere. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm like, if I don't if I have some stubs on my legs or something, like chill out with that. If I got a little underarm, like I remember there was this artist named Paula Cole. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
And then I don't want to wait or whatever from Dawson's Creek.
Of course.
I love her for actually that album that song is on, impeccable. But there was either Rolling Stone or something like that she was on the cover of, and she was like laying down and her arm was up. And in the actual photo, she didn't shave. Hair, boom cat. Then they went and they airbrushed it. And she was mad about it. She was like, why can't y'all show me as I am?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Y'all can't take a little hair. Like, and the thing is that the standard of beauty, we dictate that. That's the thing. We dictate what's supposedly normal and acceptable. So, like, if you keep airbrushing out natural stuff from a person's body, then we're going to think that the only acceptable body is a hairless body.
For women, at least.
For women or anyone presenting feminine. Because that's even the standard. Like, you think about drag queens, like get that hair up, or not so much now. But I feel like even drag queens or something like that men or men that presented as in drag, it used to be very much like, oh, if we're going to be in drag, we got to be hairless. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just like any of that. It's like we equate femininity with being hairless or being this or being that. It's just. It's very interesting.
It's because, and a lot of things, again, it goes back to the father of all fucked up shitness, white supremacy. Wow. Women have often been treated like children. Ooh. And seen like children, like their property. They're to be seen, not heard. They're to be used in certain capacities. And a lot of the times we were married off very young to like full grown ass men. Like a 14-year-old girl would be married off to like a 35-year-old motherfucker having his babies. And so that kind of idea became normalized. But as we realized that these were children and laws came into place where like, no, you cannot marry somebody that's 14. And the marrying age became older, still that aesthetic or what was desired didn't or what away. We were told was supposed to be desired did not go away. And so it's so weird to me because like if you look back at like even when we talk about like Europe, right? Maybe not like the colonial type of powers, but I'm thinking more like Greece. Right.
Okay.
I love Greece.
I forgot you had that.
I got this in Athens.
That's
2
cute.
years ago.
That's really nice.
Thank you. Yes, it's a cover up too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I think about like the beauty that they saw in women who had like stomach rolls and like when you see them like sculpting these beautiful women like gods that they worshipped. That wasn't no skinny.
They was some thickums. Like, they had thighs and bellies, honey.
And hips and ass and tits and everything. They were
and white women too. They had thick white women.
Exactly. I'm saying this. I said like Europe, not the UK or France or Italy. More so like Greece. And even to some extent, like Irish. Like I remember, there's this girl I knew a while ago, and she's plus size, and she always wore these really cute dresses, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
forget how we got on this topic, but she was talking about how, like, in Ireland, especially like around the potato famine, bigger women were seen as like
Because everybody
bad
was
bitch.
starving.
Exactly. They was like, ooh, yeah, she
Oh, you doing good out here.
exactly, like, oh, look
It
at
was like
that.
wearing a Rolex. Like,
Period. It's like, oh, she got
she got money.
money.
Shout
Lord.
out to Quinta. Shout
Exactly.
out to Quinta.
Lord. He got money, give it all. But yes,
That's real. That's
and
real.
then you even think about like like where we're from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
like we have net like bodies that are full,
Yeah.
and that's seen as beautiful. It's really this like very puritanical,
Mm-hmm.
highly restrictive, highly religious, highly controlled influence that was forced upon the rest of the world through colonialism,
Right.
that has since dictated what a lot of people still subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether we're talking about cis women or trans women, our femininity is being like handicapped or handcuffed, I should say,
Mm.
um, and put inside this box that the vast majority of us not only don't naturally fit into, but most of the time don't even want to have to take all of these extremes to try to fit into.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it back around to the trans because this child we was getting to a lot of shit right now.
Yeah, this is ADHD
It
at its
is. And
finest.
sorry, y'all. Apologies if you one of them people that like a check off a list and da, da, da. We have a list, but we play within the list.
Because this
Okay.
is still a conversation. This is how our conversations go. Hence
Sure.
why they last for like 3 4 hours.
Like the fact that we are condensing this into 90 minutes to 2 hours. Like we have what is our record currently? Like five something.
Just shy of 6 hours.
And right, and I'm still trying to beat Yesenia. Okay, Jesse, I'm coming for you. Um, but so yeah, I'm glad you brought it back to lunch because there was an answer you gave to a particular question that to be honest, I say devil's advocate, but this particular question I was sincerely asking. I ain't gonna hold you. I love the answer that you gave, and I think that people need to hear this. I had asked, well, how, because there is a I would imagine, because I'm thinking, if I'm thinking this, I assume usually I'm not the only one thinking something. I don't think I'm special like that. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm thinking if I'm thinking this thought, I'm assuming somebody, even if it's one other person, might have the same question. So when it comes to transgenderness specifically, not binary and all that stuff, like specifically, I want to change my body. I look in the mirror and I see a body that I don't relate to, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is that different from being an anorexic and that person looking in the mirror and saying, I look fat to me, and everyone's like, girl or boy, you are not. You are literally vanishing before our eyes.
Right.
So what would be the like how can we what would be the answer to, like, is being transgender some type of mental dysfunction in a similar way to that? Like, how is it the same or is it different, and how is it different if it is?
Right. Yeah. And I forgot we talked about this, but yes, I'm glad you brought that back up because so what you're asking is kind of like, is gender dysmorphia the
Mm-hmm.
same as like body
Body
dysmorphia?
dysmorphia. Mm-hmm.
And no, they're not. When we talk about like eating disorders,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time that is a response to an external stimuli, like whether it's trauma, whether it's society. Usually it's trauma, right?
It is, because you said
And
something about control, right? A
control,
lot of
yeah,
times,
like
yeah.
a lot of the times, like when people who grow up in environments where they don't feel like they have a lot of control, or there's a lot of high shame
Mm-hmm.
environments, especially regarding their body image, they'll develop habits like, bulimia, where they'll binge and purge,
Yep.
or anorexia, where they just starve themselves as a way to
Mm-hmm.
feel this sense of control.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, and it often aligns with, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be. So this is what I can control. I can't control, you know, my family or my environment or a cult or whatever they're in, but
Yeah.
I can control the food that's
What I
going
put in my
in,
mouth.
exactly what
Right.
I put
Can't
in my
nobody
mouth.
force me to eat nothing.
Yeah, or if they
Yeah.
force me to eat it, they can't stop me from going to the bathroom and
Doing
throwing
whatever
it
you
up.
need to do. Right.
So a
Right.
lot of that is triggered by external events.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas body dysmorphia related to being transgender, like gender dysmorphia, is a reaction to having a brain that is not
Mm-hmm.
aligned with how your physical body is. Like we talked about this
Mm.
before, where it's like, studies have been done to show that like trans women and biological women and cis women have similar brain chemistry. And so
Yeah.
it's like that science fiction, trope where like, oh, they got a brain transplant and now you have a brain in a body that it doesn't like connect to. That's
Mm.
like an analogy for like, a trans man is a cis woman or a cis
Mm.
female, I should say, who was born with the brain of a male. And so when they look in the mirror, and not just look in the mirror, but how they're treated by society because of how they present,
Right.
does not feel good to them, and they don't feel good in
Mm.
their body. They don't feel natural in their body.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to change it to align more with how they see themselves and how they want to
Yeah.
be seen by other people. And
Mm-hmm.
it's more of an internal motivation more than anything. It's not like, oh, well, people were making fun of me and now I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go and
Right.
and so to me,
Especially if
like that,
it's going man to woman. It's like, why would you in this society?
why would you
What
want
would
to give up male privilege to be a woman? Exactly. Like
like you really? That's how you feel, sis. Like, but what one could argue
yes.
that like, okay, aren't you just saying we just need to change their brain? Because some
But
people, because a lot of people who think this way are let's be honest, they're probably super religious,
yeah.
specifically Christian, and there's this whole spiritual thing to things. And so it's like, well, spiritually, God sent you to the earth with that body, so your brain is wrong.
But he also sent you there with that brain and that
Come
brain chemistry. So
on,
it's like,
this is what I be talking about.
right, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't be picking it. This is what we talked about too before. Like
Mm-hmm,
we'll probably
mm-hmm,
come up to deconstructing at some point because I know that's a other topic that we need to talk
mm-hmm,
about. But the
mm-hmm.
cherry picking Bible verses and cherry picking like things
Right.
that you're gonna be, because like how many of you motherfucking transforms eat shrimp,
I mean,
eat pork,
football is a national sport, and they say don't be touching pigskin or whatever it's saying Leviticus or whatever the fuck.
clock it?
Listen,
So
you know me, you know I had a long stint in that religiosity. I
absolutely,
could
and
break
that's what.
somebody down on
And this
that.
is exactly why I'm like, maybe that'll be next week's Watch Her
Yeah, I
Dancer
got
and
you, honey.
deconstructing.
Listen.
But yeah, just
Hmm.
to kind of like bring it home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like a lot of this conversation is a response to fear and shame and guilt.
Yeah.
And trans people are the latest scapegoats. And honestly, within the last 6 months, we're seeing they're adding autistic people into
Yeah.
the fold as being scapegoats and things like that. And we'll
Crazy.
obviously talk about that a lot
We
more
gonna
because
get there.
I'm autistic
Wild.
and fuck. And we're definitely gonna discuss that. But like, yeah, I think that it points to a deeper issue within our society and within people. It's so much easier to demonize somebody else as opposed to fighting your own demons.
My whole thing with this in general, and we'll probably move on because I know I have a short window today, but my whole issue with everything about any kind of discrimination in general is just like how you can have the energy to care about somebody else's existence so much to be angry and to want to to want to put energy into like actively like blocking their happiness. Like this is supposed to be the country of the pursuit of happiness, right? That's one of the one of the most what's the thing? What's the trend that's been going around? Like what I'm not subscribing to anymore, or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. Like what I'm the American dream. Don't subscribe to that no more because what is that? Like in the pursuit of happiness, that's a whole lie. It's the pursuit of the standard. It's the pursuit of the pursue the social norm.
Yeah.
If your idea of happiness doesn't fit that, we're going to literally actively block your pursuits. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I just don't care enough about what other people do with their lives. I just don't. I truly
because
don't.
You are a purpose-driven person, and that's another topic that we'll get into.
And I don't fear that their decisions affect me. I don't believe that what they do personally. Now, if they go and try to change things in legislation and all that kind of, like the people who are haters do, that's when I got a problem. But when they just want to live their own life and it don't got nothing to do with me, why do I give a fuck? It's crazy to me. It's insane. They are insane.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. But yes,
and in fact, I find it to be more fun. Like when I go to these gay clubs or whatever, I'm probably the straightest bitch in there. Meanwhile, I'm not very feminine in my presentation. I'm not butch or anything, but I'm not a feminine girl. I'm not a girly girl or whatever. But I'll go into the gay club and I'm probably one of the straightest bitches in there. And I'm like, they are so fun. Like they're fun. Their drinks are way stronger.
Because they're free. They're not shackled by the shame, guilt, and fear. I think I told you, I remember I went to Palm Springs and I didn't know before I went there that Palm Springs has like a big like gay community. And it's like a Sunday afternoon. And it's like maybe like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And they had this shit called tea time. But it was really just like a happy hour. And I'm telling you, bitch, the drinks were strong as hell.
Yeah.
The jello shots were strong as hell. There was a drag queen there and she was giving. And we had like little streamers. We were having so much fucking fun. And it was just a random like Sunday. We was doing some shopping. I was like, yeah, I want to get little things, I'm here. And then we just walked past this bar and I was like, yeah. And of course I was there with one of my friends who is gay. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a freedom.
It's freedom. Yeah. And in again, fact, I think if you're ever down here, now that Cuzzy's here, we gotta go to Lips.
What's Lips?
Okay, so Lips is it's a very commercialized version of drag. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to go to a ball, it ain't that. It's very commercial. But I feel like it's very introductory though for those who might be curious. Okay, I mean, you know what I mean?
I've been.
It's great entertainment. Before. It's great entertainment. Yes. The food is slightly overpriced and doesn't taste that good, but
because it's Atlanta.
Yeah, or it's because it's one of the places where when you think of drag in Atlanta, that's where people want to send you type of thing. But I will say, I think it's important to visit. And if you're ever down here soon, you can tell me, Cuzzy. I want to take her too. But Lips is just like a staple here. It's fun, and just be prepared to spend a little bit of money. But I really do. Lips is great, and it's just great drag, great entertainment. Yeah.
Absolutely, I would do it. And actually, I think I told you we got to go to Miami because we went to damn, why am I blanking on the name of this place? It's really famous. It's on South Beach. A drag show. Damn, what is with my memory? I can't think of the name of it right now.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Exactly. But yes, bitch, like I loved it. I had my dollars out. I had my fan clap. And so yes, I am definitely into it. And I think I might be down there like around Halloween.
Oh, dope. Okay, yeah.
One of my mutuals, Jasmine's Gardens.
Oh
She's
yeah,
hosting. Yeah, she's hosting like a little Alice in Wonderland themed Halloween
cute.
party in Atlanta. So I'm thinking about
Mm,
coming down for that. But yes,
be cute.
that has been Watcher and Dancer for this week.
Yes.
We're gonna pause for a segundo, and then we'll be back with Hating and Loving.
All right, gang, we back. Welcome back. So we are entering our hating and loving segment. This is going to be a fun one since we just had a heavy topic there. Let's break into a little something a little more fun. I'm going to start this one off. My I'm starting off with a hating to love, right? Even though, to be honest, I don't know if I really hate to love it. I think I just love to love it, if I'm honest. But but I'm using this as a hate to love, quote unquote, for those who are just listening. I'm using quotation fingers. Because generally these people are a problem.
The problem, actually.
They are the problem. But I think in particular, the two that I'm going to bring up, possibly a third, we'll see. Cause yeah, but the people I'm going to bring up and specifically are a little less of a problem. They're very self-aware of their privilege, and they often talk about it in their material and things like that. But my hating to love is white men.
Yeah.
Let me give a little caveat. I specifically these days, because growing up, and I mean honestly, this could be for you too, because you love white men too. Like
This is why I'm staying silent. Don't put my shit on blast.
And the irony is that in real life, I've never been with a white man. Never. The closest I've gotten is a Puerto Rican that like looked like a white man. But he was
You're not missing anything.
He was completely. Oh. Well, but I've never been with a white man in real life. But growing up, all I was into was white guys. I was into Justin Timberlake, Leonardo DiCaprio,
Jonathan
Hanson,
Taylor Thomas.
Oh,
he had a chokehold on you, bitch.
He did.
Mr.
I remember
Home
watching
Improvement.
I would watch Home Improvement, and I did not like that show at all. Nothing about it that I liked besides him. Hanson was a thing, and I actually did circle back to Hanson, which is interesting. I love them a lot. I've seen them live twice. I actually drove from Atlanta to Birmingham, Alabama to see the motherfuckers. and it was great. I have a picture with Taylor and everything. And they seem very unproblematic to be, pretty much like they're known, like if you know them, you know that they are like Christian and believers. But I feel like their stance on certain things is very antithetical to what their upbringing was, by norms, about what we would think.
Right.
So I love them. I love Hanson. We'll do a deep dive on them at some point, but. Specifically for this hating to love, it's the strangest thing. I don't know. I've been generally into comedians and comedy anyway, in the last maybe like 2 years. And it could be because like as you may know as my sister, but the public listening will get to know. Like, it's been a bit of an uphill battle for me. Yeah. In my personal life, really trudging, just trugging along, trying to make things happen. And I think I just needed like a comic relief in my life. Yeah. And so, I was starting to just really get into comedians in general. I would just watch random stand-up, black, white, gay, straight, male, female, it didn't matter. If it was funny, I just watched it. But lately I've been in a chokehold from two specific ones. John Mulaney. And I know he's married with kids or whatever now, but ever since that man has sobered up, my God. He don't even look at this. He don't even look like the same person to me. Like I don't know if my eyes are just doing weird things, but I'm just like, bro, do nobody else see he is sexy now? What is going on? It's like I was like, wait, who is this? Like all of a sudden he was. I don't know. I wasn't following him. I don't think I was following him. What did I see him on? I saw him on something ever since he got sober, and he changed. It was like, this man looks completely different to me. He don't even look at the same person. He's gagging me. And then he recently started, like, he has this like TV show, which is very unorthodox. It's like a live talk show that really, while it kind of follows the script of a late night talk show, like the Tonight Show and all that stuff, it kind of follows that script but it's like the Tonight Show meets like Pee-wee's Playhouse and that kind of chaotic ass, like, he don't really have like it's much more organic, like the interviews, because the interviews he'll just have like a topic for the whole night. Like it might be like cruises, or what was one of the other topics he had, like getting your real ID, right? That's the topic. And so the guests come on, and there's not these prescriptive sort of like, you know how you can kind of tell they might have rehearsed this conversation on these late night shows. It's none of that. These mofos come on here completely like, what is going on? You can tell they don't know what's about to happen. It is great. So I love the chaos of it. I love the organic nature, and I think that's what's more attractive. I mean, visually, I find him attractive, but what's even more attractive is that he's willing to take risks like that.
Yeah.
And kind of like reinvent the wheel a bit. I just that is such a turn on to me. So yeah, I'm into him. And then more recently, and this is probably old to a lot of people because the last project this person put out was in like 2022. And Bo Burnham, again, another chokehold. Like, I just got put on to him, and he has a project which many people might know called Inside, that he put out during the pandemic, during like the height of the pandemic when we were really supposed to be inside. And I mean, I live in Georgia, so there might have been 2 weeks of that or something, if that. But I think he lives in LA, so we know they was inside. And so yeah, he released this comedy special. Basically, it's his own type of special that he recorded, wrote, sang, because his thing is like he kind of blends comedy with music and stuff like that. So he recorded, wrote all the songs. It was only him in the room. He edited it. He did the lighting. I'm just like blown away by the absolute genius of this motherfucker. Like, I don't have any words. If you have not seen it, please do yourself a favor. It is impeccable. Like, even if it's not your type of humor, because that's the thing too. I love this type of humor. It's very satirical and quick-witted and stuff like that. Like, you gotta, I ain't gonna hold you. You gotta be a little smart to like it. So if you don't like it, just saying. But if nothing, if you don't like the humor, the respect for this man to be literally the entire staff or creating this, he's won Grammys off of this. He's won it's insane. So and he's very like self-deprecating and sort of like, he really evaluates, like, he got famous off of YouTube. Like he the way he even came to fame was I think he was like 16, and he just recorded something for his family members. Like, YouTube was a new thing at the time, and he was like, oh, I really want my like sister who's away in college to like see this thing I did. So he did it on YouTube and then he went viral off of some shit he just did, like, just to be, connected with his family members. And so he rose to fame from the internet, but the way that his art even like steps back and analyzes the internet. That's his whole thing. It's like analyzing what is the internet, what is social media, and like how is it affecting us? How is it changing us? He takes a comedic approach to it, but then it also makes you think because it's funny, but you're like, but he making some points there. You know what I mean? So that kind of intellectual comedy I'm into. And I've been told from some friends of mine that are like in the spiritual community here where I'm living, that like even in my conversing with them on really deep things spiritually, they're like, you have a knack for finding the humor. Like you make serious stuff funny. And I think that like that nature in me is why I resonate with Bo Burnham. Like it's so good. And so he has like an hour plus of the actual special. And then he has like another hour plus of the outtakes that are just as good. I'm like, so you mean the edit room floor shit is bomb too? It's just insane to me. So that is my loving to hate are specifically white male comics. But caveat to that little and we'll move on. But this guy's not white, but he is a man and he's a comic. Josh Johnson, chef's kiss. The fact that this motherfucker can literally have a stand-up every week talking about like social current topics, politics, or like, I mean, the endurance alone, my God, like this, he really like puts out new material every week, and it be funny for real. So, you know, kudos to Josh Johnson too.
Absolutely. Now, excuse me. It sounds like you resonate with them being able to just be honest and real and raw, but also funny, and not like trying to put on a character. Like the opposite of that to me would be like a Kevin Hart, where it's like,
now granted, I will say, because Cuzzy has me watching Fight Night that he was in with Sam Jackson, Terrence Howard, Taraji P. Henson. It came out like a year or two ago, maybe. And it's about a true story that happened around Muhammad Ali coming to Atlanta actually for a fight, which is so funny. Like watching it, I'm just like, oh, I know what they're talking about. I know that place, you know. But oh damn, tell people where I live. Did I already say it? Anyway, yeah. So it's about Fight Night in Atlanta, which I currently live. But this I think it was 1970 when it happened. But I will say, and I think his production company was one of the producers. I do like him in that movie. That because
I'm talking more about his stand-up.
His stand-up is.
His only good ones were like the two he did before he blew up. Yeah. Ever since then, I haven't even really been able to watch any. Like, I didn't even get through the last one I tried to watch because I'm just like, this isn't funny. On top of it seeming very forced.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, whereas, you know, John Mulaney, who, when you told me John Mulaney, I was like, I've been fucked with John Mulaney. Now, granted, I wasn't crushing on him, but I love John Mulaney.
His stand-ups were always
hilarious.
Good too.
Like, I always think about, I always think about the Ice-T Law and Order Special Victims Unit joke. That is my favorite. Or Street Smarts. I yell that randomly.
And honestly, out of all of the comedians, he probably is the most like commercial and kind of like put together. But even with that, there's a sense of authenticity with him.
Absolutely. Like the one he did after he got out of rehab. That one was like, you know, the subject matter is very serious. Like this man was in a low place talking about something. He was buying Rolexes just to turn.
That whole story is insane.
My God, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, so I feel you on that. Sometimes you can be attracted to somebody's talent and their spirit, and not necessarily them themselves. But yeah, hating to love white men. Yeah, because white men are the problem. They are. And so sometimes I hate who I'm attracted to. Yeah. I hate being attracted. I'm just like, but why?
I hate being attracted to straight men. Because they also are the problem. No matter what their race. Straight men are a problem.
There's that too. And they ate Dochi up for saying that they have a straight men are a red flag. You ain't hear that?
I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
I
I'm like,
completely agree. That's how I know it's
exactly.
not a choice. I don't choose to be attracted to them.
Thank
Just
you.
like the queer community don't choose to be attracted to who they're attracted to. Like, if I had a choice, I would be gay as fuck.
Trust me, like I've gone through this whole conversation with myself before. It's like, am I really bi or am I using this as a stepping stone to being a lesbian? But I'm like, no, like I really do be attracted to guys too. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
fucking obnoxious because a lot of the times they are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
They're
You need
complete
like a
trash.
non-binary or like a maybe a bi guy, like a queer guy of some kind, maybe.
That would be cute.
Yeah, I feel like that might be the only way to go. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I feel you, sis, and you're not missing out on anything in the lesbian department. I'll just say
I
that.
agree.
All right, so you did a hate to love. I am
Mm-hmm.
going to do a love to hate.
Here we
Now,
go.
anybody who has been following me on my personal platforms and my personal journey may be well aware of this, but for those of you who are new to this, I'm gonna give you the Cliff Notes version. For like a good almost 6 years, I worked in a traditional office environment. The first 4-ish years, a little shy of 4 years, I worked as an individual contributor. I was in customer service. Most of my day was talking to customers, helping them out. And I was really good. I was very good at it to the point that I like got a promotion, became like a senior customer service person where I did like more high level cases and things like that. And I was really good at that job. And so I had an opportunity to get another promotion that would move me from the customer service, kind of like customer facing portion, over to the operation side, which is completely corporate. Right. So I
Mm-hmm.
moved from being somebody whose everyday tasks were to like achieve like certain goals and help people problem solve to being in an environment where it was very much office politics, rubbing elbows, hierarchy, who you know is more important than what you know, right? And this was during
Mm-hmm.
a time where I was very early in my journey to understanding that I'm autistic. So when the pandemic happened in 2020, my job went fully remote. And so I was still a senior customer service rep, and I was just doing that job from home. But then I wound up getting the promotion, doing all of my interviews virtually, and I got the new job without ever actually going into the office. So then
Mm-hmm.
when I started the new job, it was in the beginning of 2021, and we started to transition back into a hybrid schedule. So I would go into the office a couple days, work from home a couple days, and then within a couple months, it went fully back into the office with only like 1 day a week at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's when I started to have the biggest realizations of my life about how oblivious I was to hierarchy, how oblivious I was
Mm.
to how passive aggressive a lot of communication is, and oblivious to how
Jesus.
much people didn't like me because I didn't fall in line with this hierarchy. I was there as a purpose driven person. My
Mm-hmm.
goal with taking that job was to learn more about the operation side and to blend what I knew from actually interacting with our customers, were their pain points, and then and learning about what we did on the operation side to figure out how we can bridge that gap and make the customers more happy.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, unfortunately, after I had already taken the role, that that role was not actually meant to be like something where you like make things happen, but rather it was supposed to make you more visible and make you know who the big players are so that you can move into like a managerial role, because my role was supporting the vice president of this department, right? So I had a desk right in front of his office.
Mm.
A lot of things had to like go through me to go through him, And because of that, ideally, they want somebody who wants to know everybody and get to know everybody. And that just wasn't me. And
Mm.
so, because of that, I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of
Yeah.
people thinking that I either was miserable, that I was a bitch, that I was X, Y, and Z. And I had a really hard time in that position. To the point where I was like, I wanted to quit without any kind of like backup
Mm-hmm.
plan. But luckily, an opportunity, luckily slash unluckily, I guess, an opportunity popped up for me to go back to my old department, but this time in a leadership role.
Hmm.
And so I jumped on it because I was like, oh, this is perfect. The role would be a supervisor level role where I would be like helping the customer service reps become more efficient and give better service. And that's, I
Mm.
was already known as being one of those people when I was on the floor. You know, I was like, this is a perfect fit. I know how to do this so I can help other people find their pain points. Plus, I like
Mm.
helping people learn and learn how to, you know, do things more
Genuinely, yeah.
genuinely. Yeah, helping them learn and learn how to do things better, more efficiently.
Mm.
So it's like, this is
Mm.
perfect. But then I get over there and I realize, oh man, when you're in leadership, it's different than when you are an individual contributor because there's these expectations
Uh-huh.
of, oh, well, yeah, this is your job and this is your job description,
Mm.
but also you're supposed to be chummy with this person and you're supposed to come to lunch and you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like,
The
well,
water cooler culture, water cooler
exactly,
talk culture,
exactly. And
yeah.
it's like, I'm not here to do that. I am here to do my job. And yes, like, if we have a little conversation here and there, that's fine. But most
Mm-hmm.
of the time, these people are complaining about something or gossiping about something. And I don't care about either one of those things. I don't want to sit here and complain about something if the goal isn't to figure out a solution to it. Because that's another thing. If somebody would come to me and complain to me about something, I would be like, oh, and I will offer a solution.
How do you want to fix it?
And then I would see it on their fucking faces where they would be like,
What you
mad that
mean
I
fix
came up with a
it?
solution. Exactly. It's like, well, why the fuck else are you telling me that this is a problem if you don't want a solution to it? Oh, it's because you want to commiserate. You want somebody else to be sitting in the misery with you. Bitch, I'm not interested. Or they'll be like, you know, coming up to me trying to tell me like somebody else's business. Like I think I told you one time, this one coworker of mine, she came up to my desk and she was just like, and she also had the same position as me,
Mm-hmm.
and she came up and she tried to start talking shit about our boss. And I remember I literally looked at her and I was like, I don't care. And then she just was like, and walked away. Cause I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm sitting here trying to do my work, and you take your time to get up from your desk and come over to my cubicle to unprovoked talk shit about our boss.
Unprovoked.
Like, I don't care.
That's
And then
wild.
I realized it's like a lot of these people, like, especially when it comes to traditional like office or workplace environments where there is
Mm.
hierarchy, um, a lot of people are not internally validated. And because of that, they use their positions
A
to
title.
validate them. And so
Mm.
when they are at work, they assume that other people, because most other people are, doing that as well. So if you're an
Mm.
individual contributor, you're most of the time low on the totem pole. Within the individual contributors, there's hierarchy or whatever. Because again, when I went from being a regular rep to a senior rep, I saw that I had a little bit more respect. But I always thought it was
Mm.
because not only was I one of the best at it, but we handled tougher cases. And so I felt
Right.
like it was earned that people within
Mm-hmm.
the department would think, oh yeah, the senior reps, they, you know, they're this, that, and the other. It's because yeah, we did do a lot of shit that reps on the floor just can't do.
Yeah.
Um, but even then, I didn't hold it over people and be like, well, I'm a senior rep and you just a phone rep. Like, no, most of the time I would take the time to try to educate people on the phone about certain things if it would make their job easier or if they could help the customer better. But
Mm-hmm.
then once I
Mm-hmm.
became a supervisor, basically, there's this
Mm.
expectation that I'm supposed to look down on the people below me and still kiss up to the people above me. And I just wasn't interested in doing that because respect has to be earned. I have to actually respect you as a person to give a fuck about your opinion. I don't care what your title is or where you fall in the hierarchy. Now, I'm never going to be straight up disrespectful. You know, I say
Yeah.
hi and bye, I answer you, I attend the meetings that are required, I do what I'm supposed to do. But all of that extra stuff that I'm not getting paid to do, that you expect me to do just because it strokes your ego and it helps to validate this position that you have,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into it. And that really fucks them up. They try to use all different kind of like mean girl and mean boy tactics to make you feel afraid for your job, to make you feel guilty that you're not playing their games, to make you feel all these things. And then when you continue to stand 10 toes down, they really don't know what to do because they're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, nothing's working." And again, I will say that a lot of this stuff is subconscious in regards to like their
Mm-hmm.
motivation. Their actions aren't subconscious. They're consciously making these decisions, but I don't think that a lot of these people
Know
um
why they're doing it.
know why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that explains it. It doesn't excuse it because at the end
Right.
of the day, you know that you're doing things to bully a grown person,
You
and
got
we're
to.
and 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 it's so fucking weird to me. And it doesn't matter where it is. It could be like the where I used to work in a big, multinational corporation,
Uh-huh.
or it could be at a fucking local community center, or
Nonprofits and stuff. Right.
exactly. So anywhere where a hierarchy is not only implemented but is seen as like it dictates the social
Mm-hmm.
environment there, it's always going to be a terrible place for
Mm-hmm.
somebody like me or somebody like you who like everybody is equal. Like I treat the janitor the same as I would treat a CEO because I don't care
Mm-hmm.
about your title, and
Yep.
my level of desire to be in community with you 100% depends on the kind of person you are
You
and not
are.
the title you have. Because again, when I was in that department where I was reporting to the vice president, I hardly spoke to these people outside of my like what I had to speak to them about. I didn't really have small talk, which also small talk is so fucking draining to me. Like, but that's the
Overrated.
whole, yeah, and it's also, it like literally takes so much energy out of me to do small talk.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I know they would get like they would seem like they felt some kind of way when they would see me chatting with the janitor, because Maria was dope, and it was also an opportunity for me to practice my Spanish because Maria
All
and me
right.
will always be speaking in Spanish, and it would be very like animated and like
Yeah.
like I
You
really
can be
like talking to Maria.
yourself.
Exactly, and I really like
Yeah.
talking to her, and
And then
so
how many stories do we have out here of people coming from sleeping in their cars, being the janitor, to then running a company? Tyler
exact
Perry. It's like, so who are you to tell me why I can't talk to? Because guess what? This person might end up being a CEO somewhere, and who are they going to remember? The
the
person who
person
talked
who
to fuck with them when they ain't had shit.
and treated them like a human being because they are one. Like if your personality is
Period.
dope, I'll fuck with you. I don't care about your title or your position in the
Yep.
hierarchy. And the opposite is true. If you got a trash ass personality, I don't give a fuck if you are the vice president, if you are the president, the CEO, or whatever, or even my direct manager. I don't fuck
Mm-hmm.
with you outside of what I'm being paid to fuck with you for. Period. And if you are mad about that, then that's a you problem, not a me problem, because I don't have to feed into your delusions of self-importance just because you rank higher than me in the
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy. Or you've been here longer, or you've been like, I don't care. I
Right.
don't care. I don't like your personality. I don't like you as a person. I will not straight up disrespect you, especially if we work together because we have to work together. But I'm not going to pretend like I want to be your friend or hang out with you or do anything with you outside
Mm-hmm.
of what I am paid to do.
Yeah. Because a lot of times they'll hold things against you that aren't even in your job description.
Thank you.
They really will. You'll go back and look and be like, nowhere on here is that my job to socialize
Thank
with you.
you. Exactly. Like when I signed these papers to get this position, at no point did it say on top of these explicit tasks, we expect you to kiss our asses and make us feel like we're important. Because I definitely wouldn't have signed up. I'd have been like,
I wouldn't have
actually,
signed up.
I'm gonna go ahead
I
and stay
can't.
here and just talk to these customers because at the very least, I know that I have a goal driven fucking position. I'm supposed to do
Yeah.
X, Y, Z. I don't ever want to be in a situation again where what I do is completely ego driven. Like what I do
Mm.
now, thankfully, most of the day I don't have to worry about that. Most of the day,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
every
Right.
now and then I do.
Yeah.
And it's still frustrating because you know what I do. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
anything glamorous. And
Yeah.
you still have that same mentality where you got people who have been there a couple years longer, who are
Mm-hmm.
considered the popular people, who think I should be kissing their ass and want to be friends with them. And in the beginning, you know me, I come in with my heart open, I lead with love. And so in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, everybody seems cool. But once I started to clock how people were trying to play in my face, I cut
Yeah.
that shit off. And now you mad because I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person because I have new information. I was
Come
never quote unquote
on.
I was never quote
I have
unquote
the right
kissing
to change my mind when I receive
exactly
new information.
because I wasn't quote unquote kissing asses because
Mm-hmm.
of this hierarchy thing, which is what a lot of people assume. I genuinely am a kind person. I like to give
Mm.
gifts. Gift giving is one of my love languages. I you know me, I'm not stingy, I'm not selfish. I just love to be, in a position to be able to help. And so
Yeah.
I came in with that. People read that as,
Can't
oh,
even be nice.
exactly. People read that as, oh, we could take her kindness for weakness. She ain't gonna do X, Y, and Z. Thought they could play in my face, fucked up, and gave me the missing piece to the puzzle to click it all into place. Like, oh, okay. So even though this place is literally like working class, blue collar work, and not
Mm-hmm.
like the office environment I used to come from, that same like hierarchy mentality is still here. And you took my kindness
Yeah.
for weakness, and you think you're so important because you're popular here.
I almost wonder if it's less that they take kindness for weakness, or maybe not so much more of this, maybe in addition to, or like some people go this route, they take your kindness for loyalty because that's what they do. They extend kindness so that when they later on do some fuck shit, but I was so nice to you.
They think you're playing the same game as them.
As
They
them.
assume that you're playing the same game, and so when you go off script,
Mm-hmm.
that fucks them up. They're like,
They
"Oh, but I
confused.
thought we had this. I thought we
Mm-hmm.
would see an eye to eye." Like, no, bitch, you had nefarious intentions behind your actions. My actions were literal. I
Pure.
literally am a kind person. I literally like to help. I
Mm-hmm.
This is what I did, and you took that and read it as, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Which
okay,
is
and
so
now,
nefarious, like to do something nice only so that you assume that person won't confront you when you do crazy shit to them is
mm-hmm,
insane to me. Like to leverage kindness for you betraying them later, possibly throwing them under the bus, or throwing somebody else under the bus and you expected them to co-sign whatever, like that is wildly evil.
yeah.
Wildly evil. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so yeah, I love to hate on it because I'm gonna keep making bitches mad. I'm gonna keep making bitches mad. They're gonna keep wanting to try to be my friend, and I'm gonna keep giving
Yeah.
them the shoulder. And again, because I'm not completely ignorant, if somebody comes and starts to have a conversation with me, especially if it's not gossip related,
Yeah.
I'll talk, especially don't bring up one of my special interests. You'll think I'm actually your friend because I'm gonna
Mm.
start info dumping to you
Because you
about it. Cause I can't
right.
help it. Like, don't ask me
Yeah.
where I'm traveling in a couple weeks. Cause bitch, I'm gonna give you all of my travel history, and but that don't mean we
Mm-hmm.
friends. It just means that I am not an asshole. And even if I don't
Mm.
like you as a person, it doesn't mean that I have to treat you like shit. And that's another thing that people do. They think if you're kind to them, that you are either a pushover or that you like them. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I just am a person who leads with love. And
All
so just
right.
because I don't like you doesn't mean I have to be an asshole to you.
Right. It doesn't serve me to be that. Like, I don't get anything out of being mean to people unnecessarily.
Exactly.
If you
That
want me
feels
to
terrible.
be,
Oh yeah, exactly. Like if you want to be funny, I could be hilarious.
it's in.
But but I
That's
try not
true.
to go there because my natural disposition is to just be,
Yeah. Cause who
neutral.
got time? Who got time for that energy? It's insane. Like when
People who ain't
we
got anything else going on.
and they don't go to work for a purpose. Like I was thinking about that. Like I think a lot of people think about their job as like this is what I do, as opposed to this is why I do.
Mm-hmm.
There's no why behind a lot of people's whats
Oh
at their
yeah,
jobs at
not at
all.
all.
What I do is this at my job, but no one really and it's so sad, especially when you work for when you work with youth or when you do something artistic or you're with a nonprofit or something with social justice issues. Like those are the kind of places where you should really know the why behind your what. And
Yes,
oftentimes they don't. They're doing exactly the same thing as these other corporations where the bottom line is profit. You're supposed to be bigger than that, right? Non-profit. And you're still coming in here with the what's rather than the whys.
exactly, and that goes to something that I alluded to earlier, and something that I have been writing because I've been slacking on my writing for Medium, but now I'm gonna have a little bit more time, and I can get back to writing. I'm gonna drop the
Mm-hmm.
links for y'all. But yeah, being purpose driven versus being ego driven, and
Or
you and
task
I.
driven. Sometimes it's the task driven.
But ego, not necessarily in like being arrogant. But I'm a expand on it. So being
Mm.
purpose driven is actually being like goal oriented. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this because, right?
Right.
And you understand the why behind the what. Whereas being ego driven, it's more like a reward. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this because of an external validation. That's the best way to put it. Purpose driven is internal
Yeah.
motivation. Ego driven is external motivation, and a lot of these people are ego driven, so they don't care why they're doing it, they care what they're doing
Mm.
because the what is going to get
Check it
them what they're looking
off.
for. Exactly, the
Yeah.
what is going to get them. So if I play the game, I'll get a position and I'll get more visibility and I'll get
Mm-hmm.
this validation. I'll get. Whereas people who are
Interesting.
purpose driven, they're like, I have this goal that I want to achieve, and so everything I do is to achieve that goal. And
Yeah.
on the surface, it sounds like those two things can be the same. It's like, well, this ego-driven person's goal is to be, this, that, and the other. But it's like it's actually different in how we
Yeah.
approach
Because
things.
they can't
Like,
deviate. They can't, because a lot of things in life are about pivoting. You won't always get things exactly the way you thought it would be. So a lot of times when you're ego driven, you can't pivot. Like
mm-hmm,
you'll have something come at you and you're like, ah, you're thrown off. You want to like accuse people of being incompetent or something like that. Whereas if you're purpose driven, you're like, okay, I can take something unexpected because at the end of the day, I'm very clear about where I'm going and not about
uh-huh.
just checking off getting something done.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, this is why I'm like Kendrick Lamar. I'm the biggest hater when it comes to office/workplace culture, and
Yeah.
I don't give a
Mm.
fuck. I really don't.
That's real. If I could just say or contribute one thought to this, I lately have been really into this woman named Ginny Clarke, black woman, old, middle age, older. She has like gray braids or whatever, like beautiful woman though. Um, and it's Ginny with a Ginny, and then Clark with an E at the end. Um, Everybody needs to get into her. She's on the YouTube. You can subscribe to her and get a newsletter. She has a website. All this, like this woman has worked for Google. She's worked for a lot of major corporations like that.
Okay.
Um, get into her. That's all I'm gonna say. She breaks down everything when it comes to office culture and corporate
Oh.
and being a divorced single mother black woman.
So she is your best friend.
Bestie right now when I
Okay,
tell you.
okay, okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
She is thorough as hell. Like I have I'm just like everything she says be like like girl, like I like even when you were what was it you were saying the other, oh gosh, it was something she said exactly like you've been saying for a while. Gosh, I'm going to tell you about it. But anyway, a lot of the terminology and the topic, like she speaks a lot like you, and when we talk, you would.
Okay.
She
I'm gonna
is,
have to
but
get
like,
into
but
it.
she presents it in like a very because she's worked for so many corporations, she knows how to present it in a way that you can even like use it to help your corporation. Like, girl, watch this, y'all. Like, it's very, it's like she's very thorough, and like the branding's great, incredible. So Ginny, and then Clarke, Clarke.
Send me some links. I'll make sure to put it in the description when we post.
I will do that. I'm gonna send you my favorite ones. And oh my god, it's just so she's incredible, and she's been again circling back to the top, grounding me. She's been another part of my grounding. Like I'm out here going to sleep with her on my ear, like just because like the verbiage and the energy that she has, it's perfection, honestly. So when it comes to this topic, I recommend her to all of y'all.
True. Well, I will be checking her out. And yeah, thank you guys for stopping by and chilling with us for our second episode of Hold Up. Let me
This was
call
a
my sis.
this is a very concise episode, I will say.
Yeah, I think we did good. This is definitely shorter than our last one, but that's because we stayed on topic a little bit more.
We did.
But it still flowed like one of our normal conversations, which I appreciate. So,
and honestly, if I didn't have somewhere to be in about an hour, who even knows?
Right, exactly. So I think that's good when you have that external time clock, because it's like, oh, bitch, like we gotta stay on task.
Head wrap, like a head wrap.
Period. All right, big sister. Thanks again, and we'll be chatting again soon. And thank you guys for stopping by.
In. We're hopefully, well, not hopefully. I think we're going to be pretty much weekly. We're working on being weekly at this point. Yes.
But I am traveling in 2 weeks for my birthday. Okay. So that week, probably not.
Yeah. So we might have a third episode out and then a break, probably.
Yes. Or maybe. Actually, no, because we can, it might be a fourth episode
and then a break. Okay.
Yes, because we do record before I leave for my trip. So
okay, I got you. Yes. All right, stay tuned, guys. We hope you enjoyed this, and tune back in for when we hold up and call each other.
Period. Bye.
Bye.